Hey guys, how's it going? This is Darth Insomnus, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses. Before we begin this playthrough, I just want to apologize for not posting stuff in a hot minute. I've just been busy with work, I started the gym, and I've just been busy with real life stuff, so I haven't been able to record when I wanted to, so that's my fault. But I'm excited because I get to get back at it since I have a bit of time off from work. I think I got like a week off, so I'll be able to have more time to record stuff. But with that being said, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses. This is my favorite PlayStation 2 game ever made. Um, to anybody that likes Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that, like, this is a different kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, there's different rules in how this game plays compared to what some audience members are used to. And I thought, because I haven't really played this game in a while, and I think it would be in like a fun little project to work on, show people a game they may not have seen before, that this would be something great to post on my second channel. So, without further ado, we're going to get into it. The British Empire in the 1480s. The War of the Roses, a power struggle between the houses of Lancaster, Red Rose, and York, White Rose, to decide a royal successor, was nearing an end. With the Yorkists well in the lead, the reign of Richard III was but a step away, and in France, Hughie, Henry Tudor, the last Lancastrian heir, was being forced to live a life of exile. The Lancastrian forces were rendered powerless by ancient cards of sorcery wielded by Seto, and the seven followers, known as the Rose Crusaders, served under the flag of Law Crawford, a powerful Yorkist nobleman. Lacking a duelist to champion their cause, defeat was imminent for the Lancastrians. In England, dual card games were still in the fledgling stage. Thus, the Lancastrians had to look elsewhere for a duel master capable of facing Rosencreutz in battle. With this in mind, Margaret May Buford of Lancaster secretly requested a High Druid to summon a duelist from another age. And that's where we come in, baby. Woo, 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 and bam. Ooh. Summoned from the mystic circle, red and white roses, the one capable of harnessing pure power. There was truth to the legend of the Rose Duelist. Lady Margaret, I did it! Now we have the means for defeating the evil forces of Rosencreutz. Oh, my apologies. In my excitement, I've forgotten I was in the presence of the Rose Duelists. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Simon McMoran, High Druid and Servant of Lancaster. May I be so bold as to ask the name by which the Rose Duelists would like to be known? Okay, so this is kind of the first little oddity for people that may not know. So in this game, you type in your name, and it will randomly generate 3 different decks that you can choose from to use for this entire playthrough. And and depending on what name you get, like, you could get very specific decks that are better than others. So what I'm going to do for this playthrough is I'm going to go for the name Alien. Because as I'll show you guys in a moment, there's a really powerful deck that you can use that uses this name. It'll probably be the best overall one that we could use for this playthrough. Alien, a fine name indeed. Now, here's the situation. The year is 1485 and you are currently in Stonehenge, near Salisbury, England. The British Empire is in turmoil, with the House of Lancaster's rightful claim to the throne being challenged by the Yorkist usurpers. The power struggle is referred to as the Wars of the Roses, a name based on the badges used by both sides. A red rose for the Lancastrians, and a white rose for the Yorkists. Right now, our kingdom is threatened by the Yorkists, and their wrongful claim to the throne. All because the Yorkists enjoyed the support of the Rose Crusaders and their sorceress White Rose cards. Using our Red Rose cards, we summoned you, Alien, to this day and age. We hoped that your dueling experience would defeat the Rose Crusaders and lead us to victory. Will you help us? Of course you will. Foolish of me to even doubt where your loyalties lie. I mean, I just met you. Rumor has it that the only legendary Rose Duelist stands a chance against the power of Rosencreutz. We appreciate any help you can provide against them. Before I forget, I should warn you that the rules to dueling differ here from those of your age. Here in England, dueling is governed by what is known as the perfect rule. In addition to several minor distinctions, there are two major differences. One is the existence of movement or positioning, the other is the deck leader concept. These two aspects of dueling that were lost in the process when the ancient sport of duel monsters was adapted to card form. The perfect rule represents these lost rules that were miraculously revived here in England. Perhaps a practice duel will serve better explanation, shall we? I think for this playthrough, I'm not going to go for the practice duel. Because I think when I start doing these duels, like, I'll just explain what's going on. Because these practice duels will take a while. So I think we're not going to do them, and I'll just explain how the rules of this Yu-Gi-Oh game work as we go on. First, Alien, you must select a deck to duel with. It is important that you feel the vibrations of a deck leader, the minute resonations that ring true to your soul. The cards themselves draw their power from the energies of the Ancient Ones. The deck leader acts as an intermediate between the Ancient Ones and the deck wielder. Alien, it is essential that you select a card leader whose rhythm matches the stirrings of your soul. Here are several decks from which to choose. Give it some serious thought and make your selection. Choose carefully, for the deck you select will guide the destiny of your duels. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, so every deck, every name that you choose, like you'll get, the game will choose like 3 random decks for you. So here we have the Illusionary Gentleman. And so you see his name on the left there. So that little witch symbol means that he's mostly specialized in spellcasters. The average summoning level is 3.28, so within the entire deck, on average, each monster is going to cost 3 stars to summon. And you can see the main attributes. You got Dark, Light, Water, and Wind. And then the main races, which are pretty much like the types of monsters. So this is going to be Spellcasters, Zombies, Fiends, and Water. Then we have Robotic Knight. So he's Machine. He mainly has a Machine deck and Warriors. The main attributes are Dark and Earth, and the average summoning level for monsters is about 3.4. And then we have Fairy King Truesdale. The average summoning level is about 3.26. The main attributes are Earth, Dark, Water, and Wind. And this is an insect-based deck. But he mains in Insect, Plant, and Beast. So basically he's a forest guy. So, the reason why I chose Alien is because I'm going to go for Robotic Knight. From what I've seen and me playing the game as a kid, like, this is one of the best decks in the entire game. Because machine-type monsters are overpowered as hell. Because I was thinking maybe Fairy King Truesdale, but the problem is that, like, with this deck, and as you'll see later, like, there's different terrains for the dueling boards, and it's like, the forest-type monsters aren't bad, but comparatively with Robotic Knight, there's a lot of duelists that I'm going to be facing that benefit more from certain terrains that they use. So we're going to face duelists that use a lot of Wasteland, and Wasteland is perfect for this kind of deck. Because, well, I guess we'll see later, but essentially, like, this guy has, like, the most powerful monsters, like, there's a lot of good combos that you can use. So we're going to go with this guy. Ah, I see you selected your deck. So that's the effect of the Celtic Rose cards, huh? It looks like there's some truth to the rumor that red rose cards are capable of time transformation. Who's there? Hey, it's our boy. It's been some time since the Battle of Burnett, old one. Rosencruz, what brings you here? Only a member of the Rose Crusaders may call me by that name. If you may recall, I told you once before that you may only address me as Seto. Or does memory fail you, old man? And you must be the dreaded Rose Duelist. I must admit there's a certain aura of power emanating from you. I believe an introduction is in order. I am Seto, leader of the Rose Crusaders. There are members of our little group who prefer to call me by the name of C. Rosicruz. I ask you again, what brings you here, Seto? Mind your manners, old man. What else would bring me here? I've come for the Red Rose cards. After all, it was you who showed me how the summoning capabilities would evolve when the Red Rose cards are combined with the transport powers of the White Rose cards. You aren't thinking of attempting the Forbidden Rose summoning? If so, then the Red Rose cards must never fall into your evil hands. Card sorcery taps into the powers of the Ancient Ones. By their very nature, each card is a double-edged sword that can cut both ways. The Rose cards alone harness tremendous power. There's no telling what horrors might unleash into the world by combining both red and white. I will sacrifice my own life if need be to prevent any from uttering the Spell of Doom. Spell of Doom? Fool. The 16 red and white rose cards grant power overall. Druid legend has twisted the true meaning of these cards. We Rose Crusaders have sworn to create a utopia free from the ravages of war. We intend to accomplish this with the power of the Rose cards. And we shall do so by extending the rule of Richard III throughout the known world. By the way, it was clever of you to form a circle of red roses within the white rose barrier to summon the Rose Duelist. But you were foolish to come alone. This area is surrounded, and if you wish to leave with your life, you will only do so by handing over the red rose cards. Me? Fool? And what about you? Are you fool enough to actually believe the red rose cards will remain here in my possession? Right after the summoning, I had the cards dispersed among our best duelists to keep them from your tainted hands. Then you leave me but with one option. I shall enlist the aid of your precious Rose Duelist. You take leave of your senses, and you speak too soon, old man. Heed my words, Duelist. If you wish to return to your proper time period, you will require 16 of the red and white rose cards. The red and white positions must be laid out in reverse of the summoning order to send you home. You know the spell? Since you need the 16 rose cards just as much as we do, I propose a partnership. Help us gather the cards, and I shall guarantee your return after we achieved our ultimate goal. An absurd proposal. Do you think that the honorable alien would even lend an ear to your ridiculous proposal? Can you be sure, old man? Let's see. Simon's side has 8 of the red rose cards, while my side, the Rose Crusaders, has possession of the 8 white rose cards. As the numbers are even, simple arithmetic indicates that you could side with either of us. But I'm sure you'll take into account who's winning this war. After all, who was desperate enough to summon you in the first place? I think it's quite clear which side is better positioned to send you home. Alien? Heed not the words of this power-hungry lunatic? Simon, must we resort to name-calling? I'm hurt. I'll tell you what, why don't we leave the decision to our dear duelist? After all, Simon, the duelist's future is not for us to decide now, is it? Oh, yes, but... Splendid. In keeping with the tradition of the old temple gardens, I offer you choice, duelist. Here are 2 roses. The white rose represents me, and the red rose for the old Simon here. For the sake of justice, choose the red rose. Stand by my side, duelist. Choose the white rose. Okay, so... pretty much from that, we get to choose which guy we're going to side with first. I will say, though, that I'm going to side with the Lancastrians first, because I have this machine-type deck. There are certain duelists on the Lancastrian side that I would benefit more from dueling than these guys first. So we're going to go with old Simon here. How disappointing. Oh well, you made your choice, and I respect that. For now, I will guarantee your safe passage until you've met with Yugi. After all, I don't want our little game to end too quickly. That would be sporting. I look forward to the day when we meet again, duelists. Until then. Alright. And we're on our way to meet Yugi. Frenshire Priest, Isle of whatever that was, because it went by too fast for me to read. Alien, I present Prince Yugi, last Prince of Lancaster, a true Welshman in the hope of we who call ourselves Celts. My lord, may I present Alien, the Rose Duelist. You serve us well, Simon. My mother was wise in summoning you from Scotland. You honor me, sire? Duelist, I am Yugi. Actually, Henry Tudor is my name, but I find it tiresome. You may call me Yugi. I'm sure Simon explained our situation, but it's only right that I request your services myself. I need you to return to England and put an end to the threat of the Rose Crusaders. The White Rose cards form a barrier that prevents my armies from setting foot on British soil. Although we Celts have the Red Rose cards, we are but inheritors who are unable to wield their full power. In the hopes of revising our fortunes, we gambled on a druid legend that spoke of a rose duelist. According to the same legend, one must use a deck whose cost is lower than an opponent's to capture a rose card of another color. I believe that it is important that you keep this in mind. The cost of your deck should not exceed the cost of your opponent's deck. I would like you to note that our resources have been pressed to the limit, requiring us to evade England by August. My troops will land in Milford Haven, Wales, and march on to face the enemy at Bosworth Field. Having all the Rose Crusaders out of commission by this time would be ideal, but as that might prove difficult, any reduction of the force would be appreciated. Right then, let us part company and reunite in Bosworth. Simon will provide you with the details as to where and when we'll meet once more. Alright, bye, dude. And now we go to England. Alright. Okay, so I'll just do a little quick explanation. So on the bottom there's my name, there's the deck I'm using. I have a rank, which is pretty much like, well, I'll show you guys in a minute, but essentially, like, different deck leaders will have different abilities depending on how high their rank is. So I'm pretty much like the first rank, so like basically as basic as it gets. The DC right there is my deck cost, which I believe is 830, or it could be 880. No, I think that's 830, because the text looks kind of choppy there. Win and loss ratio is right there. The rose cards, so I haven't won any duels yet. And then here, I could look at my deck, I could save the game, I could go for help, or I could go to options. So, what I'm going to do is I think the first duel that we're going to do for this episode is Rex Raptor. Yep, Rex Raptor. So as you can see there, if you see his deck cost is 960. So what they were saying is like, I cannot go above 960 deck cost. So for me to duel each of these guys, my deck cost cannot be higher than theirs. But our deck cost is low enough where we don't have to worry about that. A Rose Duelist, eh? I'm not impressed. In fact, I'll crush you to a pulp with my dinosaur deck. Alright, here we go. Alright, so there's our deck leader. Okay, so as you can see on the top there, there's me. We each start off with 4,000 life points. We each have summoning cost or summoning power. So right now mine's at 4. I have 40 cards in my deck. And then those two on the bottom left and right. So the bottom left will show how many monsters I have on in the field, and the one on the bottom right will show me how many spells and traps that I have. So how this game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Works is that you're given a 7x7 board, and what you're going to do is you move your deck leader around, and you can summon around. So the whole point is this is kind of like a hybrid of like chess and checkers meets Yu-Gi-Oh! It can be kind of weird for people that aren't used to this. So I can move in any direction that's free. And as you can see, this terrain is Wasteland and Labyrinth. So in this game, you have a board that has certain terrains. And if you have specific monsters, you may get a terrain boost bonus depending if the monster is compatible with it. So for example, in the Wasteland, monsters that are given a boost in Wasteland are robots, dinosaurs, zombies. So they'll be given about a 500 point bonus. And likewise, if there's a field that they're weak to, so like if you try to summon a machine type monster on a water type board, they lose 500 points. And if you have a monster that's on Wasteland, like a machine type monster, and they get the field power bonus, they are also able to move an extra space. So as you can see right there, so depending on where I'm at, I have an area where I can summon monsters. So with the Labyrinth, like I can't go over this and I can't summon in the square, so I'm having to summon in any of these spaces. And you start out with 5 cards, and this is what you could summon right off the bat. So, and it goes without saying, but the reason why I decided to duel Rex first is because his dinosaur deck does get a bonus on this field, but so does my monster, or like so does my machine type monster deck. So what I'm gonna do, so as you can see here, normally he's 1400 attack and 2000 defense, but because he's on Wasteland, he gets a 500 point bonus to his attack and defense. And what I'm gonna do is, so if I press the up or down arrow, like I can actually pick a specific card. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix this guy with this guy. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. In case if the fusion fails, then I won't lose it. So, in this game, you don't fuse by using a polymerization card. You fuse if both monsters are compatible. So for example, this should work. Yep, there it goes. So if a monster is compatible, I will be able to fuse them together. So warriors and machines can make this guy the Cyber Soldier. And he's got 2000 attack and 2200 defense. So he has less defense than the other monster, but he has more attack. So this should be a good first start. And I can move him forward 1. So when I flip him face up, he'll be able to move 2 spaces, but if he's face down, he can only move 1 at a time. So now we'll see what Rex Raptor does. Okay, so he got rid of a card. Oh, and I guess that's kind of the cool thing. So in this game, you can see what's in your graveyard, but you can also see what's in the enemy's graveyard. And he got rid of a pretty weak monster. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna hold off for summoning for now. Because I got a warrior here, but then I got a rock type monster. This will actually make another fusion, so I want to leave that be. But what I am gonna do is put this magic card over here. So this is limiter removal. And what it does is, it boosts the attack and defense of all machine monsters on the field by 600 points. So I could use it for this guy, and he'll go to 2600. But I don't want to use that right now, because I want to see if I have any other machines in my hand in the next couple of turns. And the more machine-type monsters I can boost with this magic card, the better. So for right now, I think I'll just... You know what? I'm going to leave him be. I think it'll be a better idea if I just leave him there for the moment. Alright. Oh, okay, so this is another good card that I got. So this is a magic card called Machine Conversion Factory. Oops. And this increases the power of machine monsters by 500 points. So yeah, so this is a power-up card, but they're like magic cards. So if the power-up card is compatible with your monster, it'll give a point bonus. So if I look at the power-up cards, so these are the cards that you could use to give them a bonus. So Dark Energy, Horn of the Unicorn, and Machine Conversion Factory will work on this guy. So we'll do that. And we'll boost him. And I think we're still going to leave him be. Because I want to see if I could get any good cards in my next hand or two. Because again, the more machines that I have, the better off I am. Whoop. That's a Sparks magic card. Baby damage. So yeah, so there's magic cards like that where you activate them, they can just do life point damage right off the rip. And there's some that can do upwards of, I think, 1,000 damage. So you just want to be careful of those magic cards because, like, they could, your opponent could use those in tandem. They could really do a damage to your life points. Okay, well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'm actually gonna put this on the outside. So see, there we go. I don't know. I'm gonna put him in defense mode for now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so he's gonna go for that rock soldier, and here we go. Alright. Oh yeah, so by the way, I have to disable them, but so in this game you get these battle animations. So each monster has your unique own little battle animation. And what is he gonna do? Oh, he's gonna breathe fire on me. No, it's not really doing anything to me. So yeah, you see how he didn't get destroyed? So yeah, there we go. So the deal with that, what just happened was, if my monster is in defense and he tries to attack, if my defense is higher than his attack, then he loses life points. Like, he loses the difference between my defense and his attack. So he just lost a huge chunk of life points. So this is good. So right off the bat, he lost like a fourth of his life points. And now what I can do... Actually, let me see. Ooh, I got a dinosaur monster. You know what? I'm curious. Because I think this makes a combo. Oh, nope, it doesn't. Okay, so yeah, that's why you want to be careful, because sometimes if you try to do a combo and it's not compatible, then you could lose a decent card. So you just want to make sure that you're careful what you're mixing up there. So I think I'll leave that there for now. And then what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to go on the offensive. So we're going to do our own little attack here. And I can show off my Cyber Soldier doing some damage. Whoa! Gonna vomit red all over your face. And... extinct. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing about this game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it does have its their own little animations, like their own death animations. You can see he gets a little victory dance. Every monster gets one. I would say, though, for the sake of this playthrough, because this may take a little bit, to have the game go by a little bit faster, I'll just disable those animations for now. Because, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have the patience to sit through every single animation. And plus, again, with those gone, like, the game will go by a lot quicker. But yeah, so I think this is actually where I'm going to end the episode. Because I'm about a half hour in, and I think this is a good place to stop. So in the next episode, we're going to see if we can beat this guy. And I should be able to beat him pretty quick, because we're only 5 turns in, and he's already lost half of his life points, so we're on a roll. I got this power-up card that I'm going to use on him fairly soon. I just want to see if I have any other machine-type monsters that'll get the bonus. And I got 2 decent monsters protecting my flank here. So this is looking good for me. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you think this video deserves a like, you know, every like that I get, I always appreciate it. It makes my day. And until next time, hope you guys have a rest of a good day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.